All right, so welcome to episode 2 of Everyday People. We're coming to you guys with the last 6 systems of the body. So this is going to conclude 12 systems altogether.
Mm.
So let's go ahead and get started, man.
All right, right on. So we've covered the first six, which were
The first 6 were the nervous system,
uh,
endocrine, respiratory, reproductive, circulatory, and lymphatic.
yeah, that's a lot of anatomy,
A lot.
a lot. And then our last ones are going to be the digestive, the excretory, skeletal, muscular, integumentary. Oh, that's the one we were talking about earlier. You seem to be way ahead of me on this stuff, which is amazing to listen to you talk about it. So I'm going to let you take, not let you, but will you please allow us into your mind about what you know about the digestive system, which would be the, stomach, liver, pancreas, and things of that nature,
The organs, right?
the organs. Yeah. So tell us what you know about these things and how they function in people's everyday lives, and why is it important to know about
So you already alluded to the three organs that we're going to be using: the stomach, the liver, and the pancreas. Now the stomach breaks down our food.
them.
Obviously goes through the esophagus and hits the stomach where we get uric
Yeah.
acid, and that's where food gets broken down. And it's a good thing that the liver has an opportunity to break that down as well. So that helps distribute all the different nutrients where they're supposed to go through the
Okay.
liver. And then the pancreas spits out either insulin or glucagon. So
Glucagon.
mhm,
It's a fun word to say.
it's like glucose, and there's a whole different process that goes along with that. But insulin is one I want to throw out there today for the digestive because people who are overweight, like we kind of mentioned in our last conversation about people who are missing out on nutrients,
hmm
they're insulin resistant.
Now, what does that mean?
That insulin at this point is not being absorbed into the tissues anymore, to
Okay.
cells.
Now, really quick
Mhm.
as well, what is insulin and what is its function?
So what insulin is going to do is be able to utilize that sugar.
hmm
Now, when sugar is so prevalent in the body, that insulin is like, oh man, you already got enough in your tissues. I can't do nothing with it. And
Mm.
when that happens, that's when insulin resistance kicks in, and
Boom.
your body starts to like leave the sugar in your system. And then what happens to all of that sugar that's in your system? It has to go somewhere.
Uh huh.
The body stores it as fat at some point. So if you don't fast,
Uh
right, you're
huh.
just keeping all that sugar in the system, and then it's getting pushed away. Like you think like a dolly or something, and your body's like moving and
Yeah.
dumping sugar just like that to fat cells instead of it being
Yeah.
used into the actual cells like ATP.
hmm
So,
Adenosine triphosphate, right? So, really quick, right?
mhm.
So, we talked about, you talk about food going down to the esophagus and going into the stomach. How much food you would just say is a good amount for a person to be eating at any one time? Is there a certain measurement amount? Is it a rule of thumb as far as foods that people should be eating? Because we all know about the itis
Mhm.
when you get to eating this and that and that and this, and again, that is a lot to do with uh, obviously the nutrients as well in the food, but a lot of it can be prevented just from the literal portion size. Okay, so
Absolutely.
what would you say would be a good portion size?
I'm gonna follow what everybody's recommended along the way for eating.
Mm-hmm.
It's eating till you're satisfied.
Okay.
Um, I mentioned in our last episode that there's ghrelin and leptin.
Mm.
Ghrelin comes in when you're hungry. You mentioned krillin,
Yeah.
and leptin tells your body that you're satisfied.
Yeah.
So I would tell everybody, take your time, chew your food. If you don't need a drink in
Mm.
between, just continually chew your food, and that should put you in a position to be satisfied. Now, what I care is on your plate is that there is a carb, there's a protein, and there's a fat.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a carb on the plate, most likely you're getting a vitamin out of it. If there's a fat in it, there's most likely a mineral in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the proteins coming out of the amino acids you'll get out of that. So the whole point of it is that what you're getting on that plate should be all three of those macronutrient dense meal. So all macros are
Yeah,
in that nutrient dense meal.
protein, carbs, and fats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, where does I guess fiber comes in there as well too.
Sure, and we're gonna probably catch
Yeah.
that from the carbohydrate because
Yeah.
carbohydrates will break off into fiber or starch.
Right. Your large intestine.
All of that part.
Yeah, it's all a part of the digestive system, and making sure that that is clean is, I mean, again, it's going to make sure your energy levels are optimal. Just like any vehicle you have, you always want to run like some type of self cleaner through it to unclog those pipes.
So the one thing that we can use is autophagy.
Yeah.
So when you fast, every 90 minutes, your body's cleaning itself out, like as if a janitor popped up and started cleaning himself, cleaning your body out
Yeah.
every 90 minutes. So however long you do your fast for,
Mm-hmm.
that's how much process of autophagy you got in. And that's why you're starting to see people utilizing fasting to help them get leaner, right? Because
Yeah.
if you don't have to put the sugar in, your body's going to clean itself out. And I love the fact that it does that too. Whatever we don't use, the body will end up reusing or getting rid of for us, which is amazing.
And this is if we're not forcing,
Food down our
yeah,
throat.
forcing food. Because what happens again, like we talked about last time, when you eat for taste, you end up forcing so much food in your body because it tastes so good. And, there's no nutrients being dispersed. So, you know,
With food, nutrients, right? Like fiber. If you
yeah,
eat oatmeal, you
mm,
feel way more full than you would if you ate like a donut.
for sure. Yeah. Like you should always, and I heard somebody say this and it makes so much sense and it resonates. You should always be a little bit, not hungry, but you should still be like, oh, I can eat more after you finish your meal. You don't want to eat until you got the swelling stomach or whatever. You want to eat and be like, yeah, I could eat more, but nah.
Yes, eat until you're satisfied, right?
Yeah, some people satisfied is different though.
Facts, yeah.
Some people satisfied is the feeling of being
Expanding
out, that tight belly. You know, that's a very uncomfortable feeling.
because even to this point with the digestive system, it's actually good for you to draw in your organs too. Like
Mm-hmm.
you see, I'm drawing in right now. I don't know if y'all can see it on camera, but this is what my stomach looks like. Now I'm drawing in. So
Yeah,
that portion right there, I think men we need to like work on that above the age of 30.
that's like
If you're a kid, I think you can utilize that too. But drawing in, I think bodybuilders use that when they're doing their
vacuum.
vacuum.
Yeah, that's what it's called. The vacuum.
What did I
Yeah,
call it?
drawing in the same thing.
Drawing in.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing.
But the vacuum is correct, y'all.
Yeah.
So I think you see how they do all of this,
Yeah.
posing and physique stuff. I think it's important that everyday people utilize the vacuum as well.
Absolutely. And pose too.
And
Get those muscles flexed. Our next system is the excretory. Did I say that right?
Yeah, excretory.
Excretory system.
Yeah.
Okay. So for those who don't know, the excretory system is
Also called the urinary system, which we find our urine.
okay. Hold on. The urine. So can you elaborate on why it's important, obviously, to know about this system, but not only that, why it's important and what to look for in your urine and how should it look, and also some other key points that about the system.
Now, the urinary system is our urine, and being able to track how our urine color is showing you how much you hydrate yourself. Now, I know that there's studies of saying like your urine color come out a certain way based on the food you eat also. So it's not just what you're drinking water wise or all the sugary drinks or whatever.
Yeah.
The goal for our urine though is to have it close to clear.
Mm-hmm.
Clear is probably a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just water
Just
at that
water.
point.
Like
Yeah.
you just water all water.
Yeah,
now?
you just coming, you drinking it in, it's coming right
I
out.
don't know about that, but
Yeah.
you don't want it dark yellow, or you don't want to have it a rancid smell behind of it in
Yeah.
his face.
Or you don't want it black, yo. Crazy story, right? This dude, I'm not saying my workouts are that intense, but there was a point when I was working out intensely, like we just lifting weights like crazy. Dude wanted to work out with me. I let him work out with me. Towards the end of the workout, we was doing a finisher, and the finisher was we was doing chest that day too. Though the finisher was to lift as heavy as you can for like 5 reps, 5 to 10 reps. I get down there, I do my little dumbbells. He get on the
You said
bench.
little dumbbells, by the way, bro.
Yeah, bro, get on the bench. We gave him like some 25s, couldn't lift him. Then we give him the 10s, couldn't lift him. It's like, dang, his chest is done. Then we give him the 2.5s, couldn't lift him. I mean, he was like, and he was like, yo, just lay on your back and push your arms up. Laid on his back, pushed his arms up. He couldn't even push his own arms up. Come to find out, we didn't gave this dude rhabdo. Reminded me because
Crazy.
when he got home, he said he was peeing black. And he started drinking a lot of water. Then the black turned to like, a brownish color and then red. And he was like, yo, I gotta go to the hospital. It's like, yo,
Dude had rhabdo.
40% chance this dude was gonna die. Insane. Just from a workout. I was like, I never thought I could do that to somebody. We're not doing no crazy. He was working out. This is my own personal workout. I wasn't training him. This is my own personal workout. He went to work out with me in my own personal workout. So
and his experience of training is not there because obviously,
yeah, he was just,
he's a beginner.
He must have been a beginner. It's maybe like 3 other people and then him. So it's 5 people in the workout. So he had adequate time to rest, and he still got rhabdo. His body was very deconditioned.
So good.
Now I say all that to say, your blood, if you peeing and it's that black,
yeah,
you probably got rhabdo.
Y'all just learned something about rhabdo through urine. Man,
Black,
it's black. It's insane. And
God.
I know. I realized like
Yeah,
when you add balance and coordination, that throws off the chemical orchestra that's going on through the literally it's a chemical orchestra going on up there. And like Rick, it's the proteins in my body that was about to block me. And
your kidneys can't filter the blood.
because that's it jamming it up. And imagine you got something jamming it up like that, and it's your own body attacking you.
That's insane.
And then you have your own white blood cells attacking that tissue.
It's like, but think about how comfortable of lives that we live. This is to take it. We're gonna spin this for a second. Think about how comfortable of lives we live nowadays. You don't even gotta work out. Think about that.
We've definitely
that's a comfortable life we live. You don't even gotta work out. You can make a living.
Information age.
Yo, back in the days when they was hunting and running and jumping, ain't no damn rhabdo.
Yeah, no, never that. You ain't survived.
Rhabdo.
You ain't survived.
Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? You have people the way they is now. We live a very comfortable life.
That's hunter and gatherer. We're so far from that.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, again, we're far from the physical aspect of it. We're still hunting and gathering, but from the physical component.
No, not the exact right.
Yeah,
the mental component.
Yeah, it's still there. It's always going to be with us, but that mental component is still there, but not that physical, man. Like, I be looking at some of these dudes nowadays, and I be like, bro, how can you protect your family physically?
My weapon is what he's gonna say.
If someone's going, what happens if that weapon falls out your hand? If I'm walking down the street and let's say you somewhere and you ain't got your weapon on you, and some dude, let's say he a lot bigger than you, slap your girl on the butt.
You better do what Kevin Hart says, scuffle.
What, man? Like, what?
That's all you got. It's like, hey, yo,
it's like,
it gotta look like something. You know what I mean? If it's Shaq size, you talking about, or like just
it don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
You
gotta be, even if let's say you don't know any, martial arts or anything, right? You still have to be a physically tough person to be able to defend your family in a sense. Like, you can sit there and punch and take a punch or whatever the case is. But nowadays, it's like, again, it's not for all people. But you hit somebody one time, they're gonna crumble. Because they're not physically used to taking any type of pain.
Think about this is another thing too, like, because this is your arena with boxing. Just because you go at it every day, you can calculate. That. Someone who doesn't calculate that on a consistent basis, of course they're gonna crumble.
Yeah, but not even. I'm not even talking about I just said, if you don't even know any type of martial art, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not on a consistent basis putting yourself through some type of test physically, and then when something does test you physically, you're gonna crumble. Now, I'm not saying you got to do it all the time, right? But there has to be some type of physical test that sucks that you have to do.
He doesn't know my company's slogan, but it's "Train like your life depends on it," because it does.
200%, man. 200%.
And he just confirmed my company's slogan. Thank you, brother.
So we've moved past the first two systems, which is the digestive and excretory. Our next system is the skeletal system. Now,
It's a good one. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the same thing you just did.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very good one,
Mm-hmm.
and this is something I always like to bring up when talking to people just about working out in general. But I'm gonna let the man.
He's gonna call me Dr. Rick at some point.
I was about to.
I got no
Professor
doctor.
Rick. Yeah,
I can say the professor. But,
lay out what the skeletal system is and why it's important to know about it.
So if you guys noticed that when we talked about the digestive and excretory system, we kind of spoke about nutrition and then we kind of phased into how we're moving our body, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're looking at the moving our body aspect of these last four systems we're going to talk about. And the skeletal system benefits big because when you train your tissues, you're also training your bones. And I just want to throw in a mineral that matters for the skeletal system.
What mineral is that?
Calcium.
Oh, wait, where can people get that from?
You can get that from milk. You can get that from dairy products.
Oh, killing me with
Okay,
that.
so
Oh God. Oh.
Let's hear his options.
Oh God.
For all those lactose intolerant, that's why he's doing that for y'all. All right, but what other source of calcium you can get from cherries? No?
I mean, here's the thing. You can get small portions of calcium from many different types of fruits and veggies.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, obviously there's some that are really rich, more have, I don't want to say really rich, but have more calcium than others. Mm-hmm. And there's probably some that they haven't even realized has way more calcium in it than the next one. But that's why you would eat. I'm not saying you got to eat like this forever, but that's why you would eat whole plants and foods, right? So that you can get all those nutrients.
We talking about the vitamins though. We talking about minerals. How we get that mineral of calcium?
It's probably in there somewhere. I don't know.
I hear you. See?
You know what I'm saying? Like off the top of my head, the only sources that I can think of that have calcium in it would be some that are man-made, right?
Oh wow, okay.
Like man-made.
So supplement.
Man-made supplements, yeah. But it's like, and you ask yourself this question: how much calcium should we be getting in the first place, right?
And there's a certain
and also what is causing us to be so calcium deficient? Now, what else has calcium in it possibly? Just like B12, right? So B12 is found in what? The soil. But because we don't eat the things from the ground anymore, we don't get that dirt in our mouth no more.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? We don't get those raw vitamins from the soil. So calcium could be something very similar in the sense where it comes from something else. Maybe it comes from a branch of a certain fruit that we would normally consume, but because we don't eat it in its raw form, or certain things like, let's say, like a raw cashew. Have you ever seen a raw cashew before?
Yeah.
It's very soft, right? So a raw cashew could possibly have a lot of calcium in it. I don't know. This is just an example.
I love the conversation start right here.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how you start the conversations for that.
But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, there's this thing that's calcium deficiency, but it's like, all right, why are we deficient? And how much should we be getting in the first place? And what's causing us not to absorb certain calcium from other sources?
I think the lack of sunlight.
That's what I'm saying. That's another, again, that's huge right there. That's another thing, right? Like,
because vitamin C is also in that
there you
same
go.
family.
Because the sunlight, the vitamin D could be absorbing through our skin, obviously, boom, and then just what little calcium we get, just sprouts it.
Yes.
And because we're not able to get that, now we have to take other things. It's the same thing I tell people when they ask me about supplementation. Like, supplementation is cool, But you have to realize what's causing my body not to absorb the natural supplements in their raw forms. What's causing me to be so deficient in the first place? If I'm vitamin C deficient, what's causing that first before I start just throwing vitamin C in my body?
Your sources.
Because then if I start throwing, sources, but if I just start throwing vitamin C in my body and there's something in my body that inhibits vitamin C,
that part.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to figure that out first. And I always tell people the first thing, and we talked about this before, fasting and cleanse. The two things that you want to do is just, starting off.
Call it factory reset.
Boom, there you go.
For the human being.
Just like you reset that cell phone, reset that body. It's a step in the right direction. So that's what I will say for any other cleanse. It's just it's getting into the habit of taking the initiative to cleanse your body.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not like it's a bad thing in a sense.
The initiative is there.
The initiative is there, and you're actually doing. Okay. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a small step.
Small step.
It's a millimeter step, but it's going.
His initial giant step.
Yeah,
And you're taking leaps and bounds of that raw food situation.
Yeah, because the leaps and bounds it's so uncomfortable though, because you're not used to that. So that's why it makes such a big impact. But that's why it's such a bigger step. It's not even a step, like you said. It's a leap.
And all of these raw foods getting connected back to the skeletal system, because I know we're talking about calcium.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to give you guys some bones to think about, right? You have your tibia.
Femur. I was gonna say shin.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Femur. The hip bone, the pelvis, the spine. These are the shoulder blades, right? Well, the shoulder blades are back here. The scapula.
That's the clavicle right there.
The clavicle's right here. Humerus.
Yeah.
What's this bone here?
Ulna? Something like that?
This is the ulnar bone over here.
I forgot.
Which makes the thumb bone the radial bone.
Yes.
The radial bone. And then there's 3 sections to your spine, which is the lumbar here. Thoracic is the rib cage area. Mm-hmm. And then the cervical spine's up here. And of course your skull. So it's 7, right?
Yeah, 7, 12,
5 lumbar, and then the 2 fused.
Because breakfast at 7, lunch at 12, dinner at 5.
Now y'all always gonna remember that. All right, so that's the skeletal system.
Real quick, one of the basic things that help strengthen your skeletal system is weight training.
Weight training
can help densen those bones, and not only that, help you become more durable.
Especially for everybody that's over the age of 60.
Yeah.
Osteoporosis is a real thing. Our certifications tell us to talk about osteoporosis and how, weight training helps the bones stay dense.
100%.
Not only are we drying out,
but drying out. So we drying out.
It's like every single day.
Getting ashy every year.
Every year.
Getting more ashy every year.
These are supposed to be hereditary.
Like, yo, why am I so ashy?
Y'all see my knees? Look, my pop's knees. If you see them right now, they do not look this lotion.
Nah, you well oiled up there. Sure, you good? Just go throw the Vaseline on that, my boy.
The whole point of that I forgot now.
We're talking about densing bones.
Density.
Yeah.
So we can beat that through weight training.
We can definitely prolong the inevitable. So that we have a better quality of life the older we get.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you don't want to be at that age where you fall down and it's like devastating.
100%. You try to act like it's never going to happen to you. Therefore, you start doing stuff like taking steroids. You know what I'm saying? You start doing stuff like HGH.
Right.
And this is just related to, you can take it to another realm. You start doing stuff like facial reconstruction. You know what I'm saying? Surgeries. You start doing all these other things that try to. You ever see somebody who have like an older not woman, but an older person who's had
mostly women
who've had like surgeries, and it just looked like somebody. You ever seen Beetlejuice?
Yeah,
he just pulled his head back. That's what they look
like from Men in Black.
Yeah, and back better.
And it's like, yo, you look surprised all day.
Yeah, it's like you can't even. And this is crazy. This is the last thing I'll say about it, but.
You should say this for hair, skin, and nails.
This is for hair, skin, and nails?
Absolutely. All right, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Oh, now we're going to tie the muscular system and the fascial together. Mm-hmm. So let's start with fascial because a lot of people may not know what that even is.
It's important. It's what literally keeps us glued together. Because if you just think about us as just bones and muscle, you're missing out everything. Collagen fibers are in there.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about ligaments and tendons. All of these things that, like, let's say at the knee, right? You have the MCL, ACL, LCL. All those are ligaments, and then you have the tendon, the quadricep tendon that goes over.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those are actually important.
Now, tendon is muscle to bone, ligament is bone to bone.
Salute this man. And that's important to talk about the fascial system when you look at it that way. So it is a net that keeps the muscles in not containment, but allows it to move. So if I move my arm like this, right, that's elasticity. That's the mobility.
What's that popping noise?
A little bit in my shoulder. Y'all don't really hear it like that. He just heard it. But again, it's like it's a different, it's an awkward move, right? Yeah. We're mostly doing forwards and backwards, but to just do some type of rotation, now you're looking into your fascia and seeing how what's the word I want to use here? It's like matrix. It allows you to move through different planes.
You know what it kind of reminds me of when you said that?
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of mycelium. You know what mycelium is?
I have heard of it.
So if you were to see the way the fungus spreads under the ground, is like a whole web. And it goes for miles under the ground.
Right.
And if you were just to illuminate it, like we see spider webs and it's clear. Bugs see spider webs and it's luminescent. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're so attracted to the spider web. So if you can, for example, you can just light up all the mycelium under the earth, it would be incredible. Like the way it connects and it goes so far and it spreads so deep and it goes through the roots. It's in the ground. But anyways, when you say fascial tissue, that's what it reminds me of, is the mycelium.
Facts. Exactly that. And that's going on out underneath this layer that's coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
And then the muscular system, right, to tie all of this in. These are the tissues that we can talk about superficially or that are deep. Mm-hmm. The things that are superficial that we can see from, let's stick to the quadricep here. You got the vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, and then the rectus femoris on top. Underneath that is the intermedius.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it a quad.
You look surprised when you looked at me.
I was like, yeah, we got that, yo. Y'all got that too? So you see, there's muscles that are superficial, and then there's something that muscles that are deep. And I think it's important that we can have a conversation in the future to talk about all the muscles that are also deep. And I think this is another great conversation to get into when we get a chance, when we talk about the regeneration portion episode.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about, we talk about different tissues that you should roll out, like the piriformis tissue.
Yeah.
If you're sitting down all the time, your posture muscles, like both of us need to check ourselves right now.
Oh, I'm slouching.
So
I'm not, slouching would be more here. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I sit back a lot like this.
Right.
My
so
shoulders
at least
back.
Keep your chest up a bit.
Yeah, keep my chest up and breathe, but I still should be sitting more. But again, this surface is very soft as well too.
Yep.
So this surface should be hard, like this.
Or even like our Eastern.
Or we should be in a deep squat. Yeah.
Yeah. He knows I was going with that.
Yeah, so you stretching out the knees, the hips, the ankles.
And that's our sitting position.
Yeah, we sitting in a 90-degree angle, which is keeping our hips tight.
So when we get to our regeneration episode, y'all pay attention.
So the last one is now if I say this wrong, whatever, integumentary, right?
It's pretty good.
Integumentary system. Mm-hmm. Now again, I had no clue. It's probably one of those words I read a long time ago and was like, well, I don't remember that shit. And but I still utilize it, obviously. I'm a human being. Mm-hmm. And I understand some of the functions, right? But for those who don't know, including myself, what is the integumentary system?
What's important that you guys walk away with when we talk about this system, it is the largest organ of your body.
Hello.
The skin.
Mm-hmm.
And what's along with the skin is the nails and the hair. So that's the system we're talking about: hair, skin, and nails.
Oh. This is why I like astrophysics, right? Mm-hmm. Because astrophysics, they name stuff for what it is. Keep the name super simple.
Right.
but everybody else likes to keep things very,
Complex.
complex from some Latin and yeah, you gotta make this, that, phalanges, like just come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
I love this
Going off
though.
on tangents.
As you should. Please just keep it simple for our everyday people,
Man.
And so, like I said, it's hair, skin, and nails. Um, the largest organ of the body you need to walk away with when you think about this system, and vitamin E is something I want you guys to take away from this. That vitamin, check them out.
The hair, the hair. I should have had some more
What? That's
vitamin
why I
E.
got the locks. You got the.
Boy, yeah, it's like it's opposite. Crazy thing though, right? I was gonna say this earlier. I
They switch
forgot.
our hairstyle. They could do
Yeah,
that.
but me, they did a study on people who get Botox,
Mm-hmm.
and what they found is their ability to sympathize decreases with the duration with if they do Botox for a long time.
It
It
desensitizes them,
desensitizes them because when you're talking to somebody, right, you unknowingly do subtle facial
as you
expressions
should. Yeah, you have to.
as you're talking to them and sympathizing and understanding what they're saying. But when you get the Botox, your face is stuck. You can't move it.
So you just like.
So in your mind, you think you're sympathizing, but there's physical reactions that are happening, which also, when you do something physically, there's the chemical reaction that happens. So because you physically are unable to do it, therefore, your ability to sympathize and understand is lessened because of the Botox.
As you said it, I can like see two girls from Beverly Hills.
Having a fake conversation.
And it's not that they're fake, it's just they can't
Yeah.
demonstrate it on their face. And I'm like, the whole time, I'm like, yo, why she not feeling sorry for me, son? I'm like, I said something that's
She's like,
sad.
I'm so sad.
It's like, I don't believe you though.
Oh, what you talking
now,
about?
now it adds up. Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
It's inside jokes, my man Greg. Man, it all makes sense now.
That's yeah.
But I promise you, man, it's like I can see that. It's
Yeah.
actually that detrimental. You can't even fix your face because if it's stuck, you start losing that association to
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
And then you get called fake if you can't associate.
Because in a sense, you kind of are. And again, it's very, and no, I mean, no disrespect to the people who do that. It's what they have been programmed and conditioned to think is gonna keep them what we consider to be beautiful, right?
When you conform to the patterns of the world, what you find as beauty is not going to be what's found as beautiful in heaven, right? We have the world and then we have heaven. And if you conform to this,
Yeah,
you're not going to find beauty in that. You're going to find beauty in this.
all good looks fade.
Oh, beauty is fleeting.
It all fades us. Why are we trying to hold on to it? Let that well, you ain't got no personality.
Wow.
You ain't got nothing other than that physical appearance to keep somebody interested.
It kind of feels like you're the last one at the store, and everything's gone off the shelf. You're like, oh shit, I gotta do something. Like, I gotta figure out something. They're gonna notice I got no personality. You're like, personality's not on the shelf. Ah, damn.
Give me that face.
It's fresh out. You said, give me that.
Give me that face. I saw this video, right?
Mhm.
My man's was like, and this again, this goes into the system as well because we're talking about skin. And this dude was like, all right, you claim to be a bad B word. Let's see how bad you are if I ask you to go outside with no makeup on. Hello.
You'll catch a lot of them off guard.
Who's this? Who's this dude? Oh, what's up, girl? How you doing? I didn't even recognize you.
And this is one couple where the girl takes the wig off. And my man's like, yo, who's this? And he's like all crazy. He's like, yo, babe, come get this chick. I can't believe she up in here. And she runs off and go gets her wig. And she puts it on kind of like this. She's like, babe, it's me. Babe, it's me. He's like, oh, you should have seen this other chick that was up in here. She kind of looked like you, but he was playing her like that. And I was like, that's funny.
You remember I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, right? Man's This girl come, they had a bar. This girl was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I want to do with like 8 inches. And my man's lied to her. He was like, yeah, you know, I got it. And she's like, yeah, let's go. So they go back to the spin knot, and he was like, yeah, you know, about those 8 inches. You know, it's you know, it's not 8. And she was like, it's okay. You see this hair? It's not mine. See these eyelashes? They're not mine. You see what she's? You see these breasts? They're not mine.
Yo,
Shorty pop off her leg. You see my leg? It's not mine. He like, oh, so he started, you know what I'm saying, trying to get his jacket and he trying to get up out of there. Then she started hopping out. It's a classic scene.
Classic,
it's
dude.
Classic.
And it's so crystallized in your mind.
Who like, you telling? Yo.
You can give me like line for line right now, sir? What's the name of the movie again?
I'm gonna get you sucker.
I'm gonna get you sucker.
And they did. The Wayans brothers are so genius because they've been able to.
It was Damon. Was it? Yeah. It's not Damon. It was Keenan.
Keenan Ivory Reyes. He's been able to make black exploitation films, but drop jewels in them. And if you're not paying attention, you won't get those jewels. But you gotta pay attention.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's, you know what is funny? I just watched Marlon talk about him and his brother's system. Like they was at a funeral, and for some reason, they put my man in sneakers and jeans. and all the Wayans brothers is cracking on my man. Like, you know, that's not the way he wanted to go out, right?
The sneakers and jeans.
Meanwhile, on our pilot episode, he said, just dump me into
throw me in a hole, bruh. Yeah, I don't care. You see everything. I don't care. I don't use this thing no more. You know what I'm saying? I could be in the hole like with the T-Rex. I don't care, man. I'm done.
I started this episode in tears. He's going to make sure I finish it that way. But, you know, I love the fact that they can turn humor into anything. And that's why, like you said, black exploitation is a serious matter now. Yeah. But, you know, it's still dropping gems.
Yeah, that's what they did in all their films.
That's nostalgic for the timepiece, the time period that they were in. Mind you, it's what, 20 years ago?
Less. I think it was longer than that.
Even more than 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's longer than that. Like for us, it feels like 20 years ago, but it's really like 30.
Fair enough. All right.
You know what I'm saying? Right, when these things came out. You know what I'm saying?
And, you know, how are we going to pay that forward for the next generation? Because they did it for us.
And you got to remember this too, though, on another note. He put his whole family on. Come on. He was the one. He didn't make no excuses for nobody else.
So he got in first.
He was like, I'm gonna put y'all on. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny if you go back and look at a lot of these old movies, you'll see like the younger kids doing little roles in the movies.
Just to get some paper, right?
Just to get a little paper. Or just to get them, you know, maybe some acting credits or whatever. I don't know nothing about acting, but I know if you put somebody in the movie, they're gonna get something.
This is the next thing I was saying. Like, you saw, I told you I was at UCLA.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to get onto the men's basketball team. Zero. But I'm showing up enough to find out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing about what he probably did back then. If you ask him, like, how'd you even get into the industry? You know, he said, I had to wait in the back stage plenty of times before someone even gave me a shot. And then even after that, maybe a few meetings down the line from there, I ran into someone there.
Yep. Had a meeting with this person. I had to get financing from this person. You know what I'm saying?
And this goes back to what I was saying to you about the end result is here, but you're starting here. And every one of those little dots is getting you closer to the end result.
And that's why he hid those gems in the black exploitation movies, because whoever was having them probably make the movies, and he was pitching it to them, hey, it's going to be like this, how I'm going to be doing this and that. And they're like, oh, I love it. You're not uplifting black folk, but at the same time, he probably was. You feel me? Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Hey, yo. All right, so you guys, we just broke down another solid episode of The Anatomy. Shout out to B Dizzle and yours truly, Rick B. Just giving y'all a little quick recap of what we went over. We covered the digestive system. And you remember organs that were associated to it?
Yeah, there were two.
Which ones?
the stomach and the large intestines.
There he is. So that's digestive too. So large intestine, small intestine, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Appreciate them. There's more organs for y'all to walk away with. Excretory, we mentioned kidneys and bladder. For the skeletal system is bones.
Yep.
We made up of 206 bones.
It's a lot of bones.
A lot of bones. Then we talked about the muscular system. which we can break down all the muscles later. But
Yeah.
we just gave y'all a few, like the quadriceps, pecs,
Yeah.
right?
And why it's important.
Why it's important. We talked about the fascial system.
Yep.
Most people don't know about that system. And that system has the tendons, the ligaments, and the fascia.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And then the last topic we had today was the integumentary system.
Yes.
And that covers three things, which were
Skin, the hair, and the fingernails. Or just nails.
Nails, right. So those are your 6 systems of the body that we finish here in closing with.
If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping in a dark room with a mosquito. It's an African proverb.
Yeah, I was like, yo, what did I set him up for? So I feel like I was like, with the volleyball, he was like,
that's it. Yeah. You sure you want to do this?